Hey guys and girls, and welcome to my small garage. With the bad weather and below zero temperature, my car developed a coolant leak. So now I have to fix it, and obviously the leak comes from behind of the engine. And because the Peugeot engine is transversal mounted and it's tilted, it's very difficult to reach in that position. My only solution is to go under the car, remove the central mount, and try to push the engine a little bit so I have enough room to get to that pipe. So let's start. See this smile? It didn't take long to disappear. What followed was actually a real nightmare. But considering that the service will charge me actually more than the value of the car, I think in the end it's worth it. So I used the snake camera to try to identify the leak, and I struggled a little bit to fit it behind the engine. But eventually I found the leak. I found this pipe which was leaking pretty bad. I went online to find some pictures with the engine to have a really good idea how the pipe is routed. And I found several pictures. The first one shows the engine precisely as is mounted on the car when you are staying at the steering wheel. You can notice that the pipe is going into this fitting which is bolted on the engine, and it is above the right drive shaft support and goes to the left below the exhaust manifold and behind the turbo. In the second picture, we see the pipe going into this hose, which is connected to the thermostat. To have the complete idea, this is how the pipe looks bolted on the engine, and this is how the pipe looks with everything that is between you and changing it. Fun stuff. My initial idea was to unbolt the screw from the center mount behind the car, and maybe I will be able to slide the engine towards the front and have enough room to reach that pipe. But it wasn't enough. The engine moved toward the front of the car, but I didn't have enough room to slide my hand and reach that pipe. So I removed the upper trim, the wipers, and the plastic trim above the car, and I also unscrewed the upper mounts of the engine in the idea that I will be able to tilt even more the engine towards the front, and it will get me enough room to work on the pipe. I fitted the jack under the engine and lifted bit by bit carefully not to hit the radiator. But unfortunately, no matter how much I raise it and tilt it towards the front, I did not have enough room to get to the pipe. So I had to think to another strategy. Looking at this picture, I realized that on the left side of the engine, in order to get to the pipe, you have to remove the vacuum pump, the fuel pump, the battery, and the battery tray. It was not difficult. I did it before when I changed the seals to both pumps. So I thought, why not? You have both links in the description with the procedure. I also removed the thermostat, although I don't think it's needed, but mine was broken, so I had to change it anyway. Also link in the description. The last thing that you have to remove on the left side is the turbo hose. And the reason is that behind it, it's the 10 mm bolt that fixes the pipe to the engine block. So I removed the fuel pump, vacuum pump, and the thermostat, and I got access to the hose and the pipe. To have more room, I also removed the turbo hose. Only one screw on the upper part of the turbo. If I will do it again, I will only remove the fuel pump and the turbo hose. I think it will give enough room to work on the pipe. Next, in order to get to that flange, I have to remove the engine central mount, the right drive shaft, and the drive shaft support. You have a link in the description on how to remove all of these. With the drive shaft and drive shaft support out of the way, I had access to that flange. So I remove both upper and lower screw. For the lower screw you need an E7 socket, and after removing the screws I just pull the flange and I release the pipe. Initially I thought I will go away with only changing this seal, but it was obvious that the pipe was done, so I moved to the left side of the car. On the left I unbolted the turbo hose from the turbo and put it aside.
I struggled a lot to unbolt this screw because the pipe has a bracket which bolts it to the engine. This bracket has a lip, probably to make it stronger, and due to the turbo, I only had 2 centimeters to work that screw. I used the tiniest 10 mm socket that I had to release a bit the screw, and then with the tips of my fingers, bit by bit, I removed the screw. It was really painful. So this is how the pipe looks like. The level of corrosion is amazing. The car has 240,000 kilometers, so I'm guessing probably the previous owners did not use the proper coolant or they just used plain water. Nevertheless, it is amazing how it looks. No wonder that my coolant leaked.
It's unbelievable that a 10 euro pipe can cause so much trouble. I don't even want to consider what a shop will charge to replace this pipe. This is the difference between the damaged one and the new one. Yeah. Mounting back, and I think everything will be okay.
Of course, it was a struggle to fit it back in. I used a snake camera to see what I'm doing and also a shorter bolt to have more room. I fitted the bolt on the bracket and inserted the pipe in its position. And again, with the tip of my fingers, I screwed it in and tightened it with a 10 mm wrench. I did not tighten it all the way up because first I wanted to fit the flange. Next, I fitted the flange into the pipe by prying it with a screwdriver. I put the screwdriver through the lower flange bolt hole and pry it in. Then, by screwing the flange bolts, upper and lower one, the pipe got in its position. After I tightened all the screws on both ends of the pipe, I did a cold test leak. And it worked. I had no more leaks. I refitted back the turbo hose, the thermostat, the fuel and vacuum pump, the battery tray and battery, the drive shaft and its support, and started the car. I let the engine reach the operating temperature and check for leaks. Everything was good. Problem fixed. Was not easy, but just know that it's doable and will save you a lot of money. Hope it will help someone. Take care. See you to the next one. Bye.